A lot of people have been asking me, how can you tell if a man can be trusted? How can you tell if a man can be trusted? Now, today we're going to talk about how do you know someone is trustworthy? All right? How do you know somebody is trustworthy? So, how do you know a man can be trusted? Now, the truth is, you don't really believe that, because if you really believe that deep in your core, you wouldn't listen to my show, because you know that there is somebody out there that you could trust. Problem is, you haven't found them, so that's the story you tell yourself. So today, what I try to do is equip you all with practical knowledge that is going to help you find the right guy. Or he finds you, whichever, because I'm not into that, he finds you all the time. No, because a lot of times the happiest relationships can be where you were the initiator. I know some people don't believe that. Some people are like, I'm old school. Okay, if you're old school, cool. But if you're the other type of person who says, I'm willing to make the first move, I'm not going to let the opportunity pass me by, then cool. It's up to the individual. Whatever works for you. But don't put yourself in a box and say that because mama told me to do it this way, then this way is necessarily right. Because a lot of the information that we were told growing up by our parents, a lot of the people that we were told, things we were told is wrong. It's bullshit, y'all. Just straight up bullshit. Because like I told you before, let me give you an example of that. Mom and them told us, listen, wait on him to talk to you. Wait on him to ask for your number. Wait on him to ask you out. And let me tell you why that's counterintuitive. Because what you're essentially saying is that I'm going to allow the man to control every area of my dating life. Now, why that's counterintuitive? Because every other part of your life, your career, your family, your bodies, what you do is you take control of that. And then when it comes to your dating life, you say, no, I'm going to defer to men. That's counterintuitive. Now, a lot of what mom and them taught us was based on the things that they were taught. Hey, be a lady. I get it. You can still be a lady and initiate. Y'all, it's like, and what we do is we have this thought process that we have to be a certain way. Today, I want to give you some practical knowledge. So let's get into it. Signs that a man is trustworthy. Now, granted, I want to start off by saying this. There are a lot of guys out there that aren't trustworthy. But the truth is, y'all, there are a lot of women that are out there that are not trustworthy. I feel like this. Women nowadays are just as grimy as men, or grimier. And I'm going to tell you the reason why they're grimier. Because men don't expect their women to cheat. Men, you kind of say, well, if my man cheated, what happens is society says, men, that's why women can get over on us. That's why women can get us. That's why men are so devastated, because we're really, really insecure. The truth of the matter is. And what happens is we think it can't happen to us. We think that our woman won't cheat on us. And the truth be told, it can happen to anybody. So you got women and men out there who are grimy. So what I want to do, though, this show is geared toward women. And so I want to give you ways that you know a man is trustworthy. Ways that you know a man is trustworthy. Now, when I tell you these things, see, here's the problem. Women will hear the stuff that I say, and I'm coaching them. And then they'll come back to me, and I say, well, did you do what I said? Well, no. And I'm like, how the hell you expect it to work if you're not willing to do the work? Okay? And they're not willing to go. You falling back on what you know, but what you know is not good. It is not working. So let me give you something different. First, so how do you know a man is trustworthy? Number one, I wrote these out and I was like, yeah, these are good. So how you know? Number one, a man, he's willing to reflect on his past relationships. He is willing to reflect on his past relationships. Now, what do I mean by that? So whenever you're dating somebody And after you've been dating 30, 60 days, I'm not saying the first week talk about your last relationships. You want to get to know the person, but after a while, you want to ask them questions about their prior relationships, because the past will also give you an indication of what to expect in the future. Now, I don't mean necessarily if a person cheated in the past, but what I'm talking about is how they act or what they got from it. So what do I mean by self-reflect? Here's what I mean. When you're in a relationship, I say if you ask a man these 3 questions that I'm about to tell you, these 3 questions, and they answer these 3 questions honestly and without hesitation after a while, then that's a sign this man is trustworthy. The first thing is they're willing to self-reflect by answering number 1. You're in your last relationships, what did you learn about you? Notice I didn't say, what did she do or what did he do? What did you learn about you in the past relationship? What does that do? That causes him to self-reflect. I can tell you what I learned in my last relationships to help me be better. I can tell you what I did in my last relationships that were not so good. And see, the truth is, I'm willing to say it now because I've grown beyond that. I want to grow beyond that. The second question is, what did you learn that is going to help you be better in your next relationship? What did you learn that is going to help you be better in your next? And so if a person is willing to answer that question, that means they're willing to self-reflect. And I'm going to tell you, one of the things that I learned in my last relationship, I've been married for 18 years now, but in my last relationship before I got married, one of the things that I learned is I had to communicate with the person based on how they are rather than communicate based on how I am. And let me tell you what I mean by that. A lot of times people say, well, I'm just direct. I'm just straightforward. You just got to get it the way I give it to you. I'm just me. I ain't changing for nobody. Have you ever heard that? And then the person that you're communicating with best in the manner that you're giving the communication is fragmented. Now there's lack of that leads to miscommunication. So what I'm saying is I learned every time I talk, I always want to solve it right then and there. I get loud, but she doesn't respond to that. So what do now? I lower my voice. I communicate based on how she. I'm not going fast, because I like to just go fast. Let's get it out. I slow down. I lower my voice. I take one issue at a time, because she doesn't do well when we talk about 3 or 4 different issues. I can talk about 3 things at once, and let's resolve all 3 of them. But that's not how she works. So I communicate based on how she is, because at the end of the day, I'm trying to solve the problem. Most people are trying to win the argument. I want to solve the problem. 2 things to remember in conflict resolution. Number 1, you want to solve the problem. Number 2, you want to maintain the relationship. Because if you don't do both, because you can solve the problem and shatter the relationship. Or you can not solve the problem and maintain the relationship. Either way, it doesn't work that way. So you want to do both of them. All right, and the last question you want to ask is, what did you learn? I asked, number 1, what did you learn about you? Number 2, what did you learn to help you that's going to be better in a relationship? And the last thing, what did you learn about the opposite sex or the person that if you're dating the same sex, fine. What did you learn about them? What did you learn about them? Okay, that's going to help you. All right, so number 1 is be willing to self-reflect. Number 2, how do you know a man is trustworthy? This is critical. This is big right here. Number 2, he's willing to speak honestly even if it hurts your feelings. Now, let me tell you what that means. So a lot of times, I've coached a lot of women. And one of the particular women that I was coaching recently, one of my good students, y'all, she started with me with a whole lot of issues in her past. Now she's worked to overcome those. She's healed in a lot of areas, not all the way healed. I always tell her, we're working on her, she's like a house, but we remodeled the kitchen, but we got other work to do. But she has healed some in some of those areas. But she said, I want a man to be honest. And I said to myself, so she's met the man of her dreams. She's changing all of the things I've told her. I'm coaching both of them. And then when he's honest with her, she does not like it. I said, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Ladies, listen to me carefully. You say you want a man to be honest, but when a man is honest, you despise him and then you penalize him for being honest. So he told her something that he did. Not like he cheated, but he told her that he was, conversing with someone else and what they were conversing about. She got livid. But he said, I told you what you asked for. It wasn't like I was doing anything wrong. I said I could have lied and said anything and avoided this. I could have lied and avoided this conversation. But you said you wanted somebody to be honest. She came to me and I said, wait a minute. The very thing you asked for, he delivered that. And then you penalize him for it. You condemn him for it. Now, y'all, ladies, a man, if he's willing to, despite potential consequences, that's a sign that he's trustworthy. But if you don't want the truth, if you only want the truth, if it's not going to hurt your feelings, if you only want the truth, if it's going to make you feel good, then say that. Then say that. Don't just say, I want the truth. But if you want the truth, don't condemn him for it. Now, it's okay, it might hurt your feelings, and you might tell him that. But you cannot penalize him for doing the things that he said that you said you wanted. Okay? Number three. How do you know a man is trustworthy? It's because he is not judgmental about you or your past. So here's the thing. All of us come to a relationship imperfect. All of us come to a relationship with a past. All of us come with baggage. The question is, I should say, is can you carry the other person's bags? See, are you willing to carry their bags? Am I willing to carry my wife's bags? Y'all, we're all dysfunctional. We all come with garbage. That's why we all need to be healed in certain areas of our lives. The way you know a man is trustworthy is because he's willing to accept you as you are. And he's not judgmental. He's not judgmental. He might inquire about your past, but he's willing to accept you. You, not the projection of who you want to be, not the projection of who you think you are, but he's willing to accept you for who you are. And that right there is all you need. All right, that's all you need. Number 4 is the 3 I's. Number 4 is the 3 I's. Number 1, I want to say how do you want to know if he's trustworthy? He's willing to invest in you. If a man isn't willing to invest in you, he's not willing to be with you. See, the first thing is, I've said this before and I'll say it again, is because the key is that men, they value the things that they invest in, that they pay for. They're willing to pay for. If he's not willing to invest in you, then he's not willing to do the things to be with you. And so a lot of times women will get with men. You'll get with a guy. You'll be with the guy. But you're not forcing him to invest. You're not forcing him to invest. And so how do you know he's trustworthy? Because he's willing to invest. That's just one of the signs, y'all. If a man is willing to invest. Because yesterday what I said was you have to require a man to do something. You have to create a requirement for him. If you don't create a requirement for him, then he's not going to live up to that requirement. Same thing with investing. How do you know he's trustworthy? It's because he's willing to invest, y'all. He's willing to invest. The second I is this. He's a man of integrity. Integrity is simply doing what you say when you say you're going to do it. Doing what you say when you say. Integrity is not how the car he drives and not how he looks, how much swag he has, how much style he has. Is he willing to honor his word? Do it? Did he do it? If he said he was going to do it, and if he wasn't able to do it, did he come back to you and say, hey, I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it, and here's why I couldn't do it. And the last thing is influence. Influence is simply this. Is he willing, you know he's trustworthy because is he willing to be influenced by you? My wife can influence me because she has influence with me. Any man that you're with, do you have influence with him? Is he willing to listen to your point of view? Is he willing to accept what you're saying? If he's not, he might not be trustworthy. All right, y'all, those are the signs. I want you to go back, listen to this over and over and over again, and I want you to ask yourself, if I'm dating somebody now, is it one of these signs? Two of these signs? I just want to know. That's just the way you will know that he is trustworthy. All right, there are no foolproof signs, but these are as close as you're going to get to foolproof signs of knowing this man is trustworthy. All right, y'all. That's it for today. I'm going to keep it short. Hey, I'm Ken Canion. I'm the host of Love, Lust, and Lies. And until tomorrow, remember, every journey starts with one step. I'm out.